Howdy everyone, and welcome to another Lupen TV video. I want to talk a little bit about things that you could be doing in Dragonflight's pre-patch, and I really think it's kind of two sections, some things I recommend, but then also just some other things that you could be doing too that just to maybe eat up some time while we wait for Dragonflight. So talking about the things I recommend, so first off, let's talk about cleaning up your bags. This is always a good feeling to start an expansion and have some clean bags. Going through there and picking out maybe the gear that's you could be using that's higher eye level is what at least I would recommend. And then that way you can just kind of vendor the rest, get some gold, and just get ready, as we're going to be replacing pretty much all the gear very, very quickly in Dragonflight. Only other kind of side tip with that is if you are playing something like a shaman and leveling is enhanced, and you want to keep some caster weapons in case you're going to hop into some dungeons as resto or elemental, something like that maybe worth keeping around. But other than that, you can just vendor the rest. Also pay attention to some Shadowlands specific things in there. There's a lot of different currencies, anima, things like that you could just be dumping, putting in your bank. Legendaries are another big one. They do not work outside of Shadowlands, so you can still keep them equipped for the 291 eye level, but then maybe just switching them over and getting them in your bank is perfectly fine, just to free up some bag space. As far as materials and consumables go, we're going to talk about a little bit about that later in the video, so just kind of hang tight on that one. UI, huge feature introduced in Dragonflight. Now is definitely the time to maybe customize your UI to what you want, move things where you want. I know myself, I'm going to be giving the Blizzard UI at least a try to start the expansion. If I don't like it, I'll probably go back to Elv too. But they added a lot of great features with the UI improvements, so my hope is to at least try them out and see how I like them. Weak auras I'll kind of bundle into that too, with being such a huge part of WoW. Definitely cleaning up your weak auras, going through and getting rid of maybe all the Shadowlands one, or just simply doing a fresh install of it and starting from scratch is also not a bad thing either. So definitely feel free to be doing that. And then also just continuously checking your frequently used add-ons. A lot of them are broken right now too. I know like Omni CD and even Elves for some people have been causing some issues. So turning them off, but then checking back and using either CurseForge or WoW Up is back now too to keep those updated is highly recommended. Talents, another major feature of Dragonflight, and definitely worth mentioning in this video, looking at what talents you should be using, how you could be using them. Leveling is a bit of a different beast on its own, so understanding I need cooldown reduction, I need mobility, and even healing, as after like maybe 63, 64, 65, where our gear is not much higher than whatever the minimum is at that time, mobs are going to be hitting harder. You're going to need less downtime, right, between questing and doing that. So definitely don't put healing stuff to the side either. That could definitely be helpful in your ventures into Dragonflight. And lastly, I at least in the recommended section, I want to talk a little bit about non-WoW stuff too. As with any expansion, at least for me, when expansion hits, there's all this fun content to be doing, and now is definitely the time, if you're going to be doing things outside of WoW, to get that out of the way. I just become a complete degenerate, so I'm doing things like trying to get to the gym, wake up a little bit early, get my sleep schedule on track and where I want it to, spend time with my family. Those sorts of things I would definitely recommend doing now while you don't feel like you need to be on doing things. So yeah, that's at least it for the recommended section. Now, what about some extra stuff that you could be doing too? Leveling, first and foremost, there are a ton of different XP buffs going on with the Wisdom buff, the Anniversary event, the Dark Moon Fair. All of those things are going on. The Wisdom buff stops on November 15th, Tuesday, but at least kind of thinking about and using that time to maybe get some Heritage set armor or leveling characters that you normally didn't play. It's very, very, very quick. I even think I saw on Reddit some people getting like taking 4 or 5 hours to get to level 50 or 60. It was absolutely insane. So definitely take advantage of that now. Evoker drops in the second pre-patch event, which is November 15th, this coming Tuesday. That will be available to everyone to level. Devastation is the damage dealing and preservation is the healing. I know myself, I'd like to try both. Probably going to level as Devastation and then maybe level a second character as Preservation, just to kind of understand as you're getting talent points how the class plays. I think getting a level 50 or 60 template thrown at you in the beta can be very overwhelming for a new class, let alone classes we've been playing forever and they just got talent rebuilds. So I really like that kind of methodical leveling to better understand a class. Consumables, I mentioned this earlier. Consumables are a great use as we go into a new expansion. to have things like flasks or augment runes rolling, just to help speed up that leveling process. And then also food. I know myself, I've crafted a lot of the move speed foods, so that way once you kill an enemy, it gives you a speed boost to get to the next objective. So definitely check that out as well. The pre-patch event is also going to be starting on November 15th. These are primal invasions that spawn, that you go and you kill these elementals and then a bigger elemental, and it gives you currency. The currency can be turned in for gear, and then also a pet and an heirloom trinket as well. And as far as I know, those are going away with the pre-patch. So if you don't really care about the gear, but you maybe want to get the pet or the heirloom trinket, definitely check that out. Or if you have that freshly leveled evoker or freshly leveled other class that you just want to get some higher level gear just through grinding and a little bit of farming, definitely look at that too. Last two things I will give a shout out to friend Naoma on. She's been pushing and doing this a lot during the downtime, and to her point too, now is the time to do things like mission tables. Mission tables, I would also recommend downloading TLDR. You can customize it and set it up to essentially auto run the missions for you at the table. And at least I set it up to run really for gold and equipment to then sell. And I think I've made like at least 700,000 or 800,000 at this point doing it the last couple weeks. So definitely worth doing while you've got a couple characters at level 60 with all that anima just sitting there. It takes maybe 20-30 minutes to run through all your characters, and awesome. The second one's mount runs and transmogs. If you've been hunting that transmog and trying to kind of find a your certain piece, you maybe do it now, right? While we don't feel guilty for not playing Dragonflight content, unless that's your thing and that's something you want to do. Obviously, do whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. But when there's going to be all this content available, the last thing you really are going to want to do is go back to old content and try to, farm something while all your friends are doing all the new content. So take advantage of this time now while we have a lack of content to do the other things. And that's really it. I've been having a great time during pre-patch. I've been leveling some alts for heritage armor. I've been doing my mission tables daily. I've been doing my callings too. I didn't really touch on that, but if you have a character that's like maxed out in rep and you can get callings, it's a great way to earn gold. Maybe it takes 20-30 minutes to do all three every 3 days. So that's at least what I've been doing. I do plan on, like I mentioned before, playing Evoker and just kind of understanding it. So I will probably make a video just with my initial thoughts. And just kind of talk a little bit about that. Maybe do just kind of like a stream with my thoughts, and then just kind of compiling that. So really looking forward to everything that has to offer, and then kind of into Dragonflight. Probably going to be streaming a bit, especially with raids, and then also continuing to create these videos as well. So as we get closer to that and enter into Dragonflight, if you have anything you want to hear me talk about, see those sorts of things, definitely let me know in the comments below. And all in all, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one.